2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast. Thirty seconds till broadcast. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your Friday, man. You finally made it to the end of the weekend. What a week it has been. A wild one at that. Plenty of news throughout the weekend. Of course, last night, the big document dump on a whole nother issue last night after the statement from President Donald Trump in the Oval Office, or in the White House at least, and giving an update on the concern about election integrity. We will break some of that down here in a little bit on the program. We have Mark Wayne Mullen, the Secretary for Department of Homeland Security, that commented and followed up on that issue early this morning. The Senate hearings apparently talking about election integrity and more. Democrats not liking that. The fact that we're focusing on elections, because they say, here's the weird world that we live in now. If you think that the elections are fine, then Donald Trump is corrupting them. If you believe the elections are corrupt, then Donald Trump is fixing them. And I don't know how that's going to bring any unity together, but wow, at least we're getting some information here, which is what we'll cover here throughout the program today. Also, we have some brand new information.
What's trending today?
Where apparently we know where the parasite is coming from that's making individuals sick. Now, here's the thing. The media, for some reason, has loved being able to use a quote, and I'm not going to say the quote on the radio, even though I don't think it's FCC violations. It's just weird why we're so fascinated with explosive, you know what. So apparently we know the reasoning for that, and now it's because of Taco Bell, which, did anybody ever realize that that has always happened with Taco Bell? So, I mean... But apparently now we found out the company that provides the lettuce to Taco Bell, especially in the Mid-America region, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Kansas, where I'm at, Texas, and beyond. That's where the majority of the cases are, and that is from the supplying of lettuce to Taco Bell. And another reason why Taco Bell is making you sick, and that's happened for a long time. So... boom, there we are. We got a lot to get to today for sure. Broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas on our flagship station, the Big Talker KQAM. But we are all over the country with so many great radio stations doing our thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day here on the program. I don't want to waste any time because our guest today is right out of the gate. I have deemed yesterday as the Trump Trolling Thursday. Today is the document dump for Trump because we continue to see more information coming out across the board.
Let's go to the Red State Spirits Hotline.
Yeah, with our friends over at redstatespirits.com. Go and check them out for sure. We have the document dump on elections that came out last night. but this has overall been one of the most transparent administrations in modern American history. Document dumps on elections, document dumps on the JFK files, document dumps on UFOs and UAPs across the board. We're getting more information all over than what we have prior to. And I want to go to, because it is one of our favorite topics on this program,
Weird news of the day.
that's right. Happy to have on the program back with us. He is the author of the book Sacrificing Humanity. Last time we had him on, he had some interesting connections of the UFO, UAP disclosure and certain locations where a lot of sightings happen, and Jeffrey Epstein. But if you did not catch it, last week on Saturday, they did round number 4 of some document dumps with some really interesting information. But Indy Peterson with us today. Indy, how are you, my friend?
Great. Nice to be back.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the program. What a wild time that we're living in right now. We're seeing a lot of documents being released, declassified across the board, but we got to go to the UFO UAP info for just a moment. Did you see the latest round of documents that were released last week, and what's your thoughts on some of these?
The tranche number 4 is amazing. If the people don't believe in UFOs now, I don't know what it's going to take. Because you have these things doing right-angle turns. Every time they get in the gun sites, they have intelligence that show that they know that the gun sites are on them, and they immediately go out of the gun site. So they can't lock on with their gun site cameras. They try, and repeatedly, every time they get the UFO or UAP, whatever you want to call them now, in the gun sites, they zip out of there at a speed that's incredible, and they do right-angle turns. And I love the one on the moon where you got one red orb materializing and dematerializing, and then while the gun sights are locked on, another one comes in and distracts, and it does a right-angle turn at a speed that's so fast the camera video footage can't even keep up with it, and it blurs right off the video footage because the frame rate on the video is not fast enough.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I love the fact that we are seeing some of these, especially from NASA, because NASA for the longest time has said that, we don't have any information like this. We don't have any evidence whatsoever. They always do the generalized term of, well, the universe is infinite, so therefore I'm sure there's something out there somewhere, but we can't wait to find it. We're looking into it. And now with this latest dump, a lot of these pictures have come from NASA, like you said, with photos of them while we were on the moon, of like, oh yeah, we actually have photos and videos of weird things that were going on, of things around the moon while we were actually there.
Yeah, they've been deleting them, photoshopping them right out of the images. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And the red orbs is about as clear as you can get. That one that does a right angle turn, while the other one's in the gun sight cameras, it's just unbelievable, and it's right on the moon.
Yeah, it is pretty incredible. The dumps and the document releases continue to be more exciting, more interesting, which I find really exciting for me personally. But as we go down this road and more information does come out, do you actually see that we're going to get to the point to where we say, yes, we have craft ourselves, there's information that we don't know of, that we can't quite understand, and yes, there are entities out there that are not human? Do you think we'll actually get to that point?
Well, we actually did with Nancy Mace's hearing, where she said, the DOD and the Pentagon say we don't have these craft, yet we're paying millions of dollars out to people who've been injured by these craft. So how can you have it both ways? What a paradox.
Yeah.
And
they talked about having biologics as well.
Yeah, biologics. That's the key word.
Yeah,
for alien bodies. Yeah, biologics. and they also have the orbs showing up at our launch control sites that they call, or a nice euphemistic word, nuclear equities.
What is that? What is nuclear equities? I don't understand that term.
They use it. They don't want you to understand that term. That's the key point. But what it is, it's our LCs, our launch control sites. They're literally showing up. I interviewed the missileers. I don't know if I remember. I told you this story last time, but I'll repeat it if I did. I interviewed 3 of the missileers. Of the many people I interviewed in the Minuteman sites out in Montana and Wyoming, and they told me how that they literally thought we were in a nuclear war because the computer showed that we were in a all-out launch sequence and they couldn't stop it. And they had meltdowns, and one guy was telling me this, and the other 2 were nodding their head. Yes, we were there. We saw it.
Yeah.
And so these orbs are coming, and they're taking control of our command and control systems for our nuclear missiles. I don't know if anything that can be more frightening than that. So if that doesn't get the public alarmed, I don't know what will. But of the Robert Hastings, who wrote UFOs and Nukes, which Luis Elizondo, one of the whistleblowers, said that in the congressional hearing that everyone should read. It's 600-page tome, so it's a little heavy. But he spent his whole life looking into interviewing these missileers. And I asked ChatGPT how many examples are there of the UFOs interrupting our missile sites in this 600-page tome, because I couldn't count them all. There were so many. And it said hundreds. And I said, well, of these hundreds, ChatGPT, how many could have potentially caused a nuclear war? And ChatGPT said 10 to 20.
Wow. That's a very
Yeah,
scary
wow.
concern. Yeah, and like you said, so here's the big question then: why is there such a fascination with these crafts around those areas and being around nuclear facilities, either activating and turning them on or actually turning them off? I've had personal encounters with people that were on military bases as well. They're retired now. That said that they've seen craft firsthand, and it would deactivate them. They'd have to bring people out to actually re-engage the nuclear sites and re-engage the missiles that they had there because they were turned off as well. So between turning them on and turning them off, what's the fascination in the link here?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the turning them off. We hear much more about in the media about the turning them off and the changing their launch codes, which has happened relatively a small number of times. If you look at the totality, there's been far more times when they started countdowns and darn near started a nuclear war. And one time in Russia, they literally couldn't stop the launch on us until the UFO left. They tried everything, and it was a literal countdown. So we had it on both sides, here in the U.S. and in Russia.
Wow.
So we hear all the time about, oh, they shut them off and they changed the launch codes, but we don't hear as often about the stories that aren't so pleasing.
Yeah, it's a scary thought. So here's the big one then. Who is or what is the biggest threat? Is it these things, these beings, these ships that we don't understand, or is it the technology that we have that they're manipulating and toying with us with that could potentially cause massive amount of harm? Are we the threat or are they the threat?
Well, David Grush talked about that, another one of the whistleblowers, and he says that there's something that's attracting them to all of our nuclear assets, our nuclear equities, as they call them. So that's the common theme. They don't like our nuclear weapons, and every aspect of the nuclear equities chain, everywhere, all the way from the uranium development all the way up to the launch control sites. Every aspect.
Yeah,
they're showing up frequently.
Yeah, they're watching it, they're playing with it, they're playing with our equipment. It's very strange on why that would be a fascination for them. But if we are a threat to ourselves, a bunch of, monkeys essentially that are playing with nuclear sites, I mean, that's probably not a smart thing for humanity in general. So they probably don't like the fact that we've discovered this kind of technology.
Yeah, and one of the best evidence is I talk about this in my book, Sacrificing Humanity. One of the best evidence is because some people say, well, are these ours? Are these our craft? Well, the best evidence to debunk that is we don't have control of these things. Yeah. When they come and interrupt our launch control sites, that proves that they're not ours. Then the next thing you have to say, well, is it the Chinese or Russian? Well, that would be the biggest intelligence failure in history that would dwarf 911.
Yeah. It's a really great point. We're talking with Indy Peterson, author of the book Sacrificing Humanity. You can find that on Amazon. We got just about a minute or so left here, Indy. But because of the technology that we're starting to see in these document dumps that are actually coming out, how many of them do you think, in your personal perspective here, are something that we don't understand from a different quote-unquote biologic? Or how many of them do you think that are actually ours that maybe we've experimented with?
Well, as I just explained, I don't think any of them are ours.
You don't think any of them at all?
Well, maybe the early tranches, which were like some ridiculous stuff they put out on the first two tranches. It's kind of like the Epstein files. They start out with nothing, and then the public gets outraged. But I think it's amazing what Trump is doing. He's getting full disclosure. He's playing like 5D chess, because this hits at the absolute the top of the pyramid of the bureaucratic state. that's got control of all this stuff, and they're over the president and over Congress, so we can't even rein them in.
Yeah.
So Trump's doing it the best way by disclosing all. He's the most open president we've had.
Yeah. Well,
this
and that's
is the first time in history.
Exactly. First time in history we're seeing any of this information on multiple different issues, which is why we saw the election document dump yesterday. We're seeing these UFO, UAP document dumps. We're calling them document dump Trump because we're seeing more information than we've ever seen before. And I think that is really exciting. More transparency, which is what people have demanded and have wanted. Indy, we are out of time, my friend. Sacrificing Humanity. Go and check out the book. Indy, have a great weekend, my friend. Let's get you back on and do it again soon.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for having me again.
You betcha. Appreciate it. Great conversation, man. I love that one. That's the way you start off a Friday and kick off your weekend program here on the show. All right, when we come back, we're going to shift gears. We're going to talk about the document dump we saw last night, the Trump administration, where we're at with the midterm season, elections, and so much more. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Ready to take your health back? At Hooser Health, we empower you with holistic options. From natural hormone support to targeted pain management, our handcrafted herbal products are designed to complement your wellness journey safely and effectively. With organic, easy-to-understand ingredients, you can trust in the quality and freshness of every product. Rediscover powerful forgotten herbs. Visit HooserHealth.com and take the first step toward empowerment today.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Hey, it's Andy Hooser, and as you know on this show, it's all about the American spirit. Bold, proud, and unapologetic. And Red State Spirits does the same from grain to glass. Try their true American bourbon, their smooth American vodka, classic gin, or rich rum. It's all crafted by veterans for those who stand tall and sip strong. And right now for my listeners, when you order that patriotic bundle of all 4 blends, you get free shipping. Order today at redstatespirits.com and use my promo code REASON. That's redstatespirits.com. Must be 21 years or older. Please drink responsibly.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
Making common sense great again. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, it is. What's up, my friends? Welcome back into it. 24 minutes past the hour. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, doing our thing like we do every single day. I'm sorry, I have the video feed going on, and for some reason, I don't have my chat that usually pops up to where I can see where we're streaming right now. If anybody leaves a comment, I can't see it. So if you are leaving a comment, I'll try and get to that so we can address you and get to our mailbox here a little bit later on. We did a poll on our social media for the program on some of the favorite content that we do on this show. And obviously the deep dive into politics is number one. Everybody enjoys that one. But the second most popular topic that we talk about on this show is the UFO, UAP stuff. So, I figured that was a fun way to kick off a Friday. And as we talk about the document dump Trump and all the information, the transparency that we're seeing out of this administration, more so than any other administration in modern American history, declassifying information, getting it out to you and I as the public to empower us, to let us have more knowledge and understanding of what the heck's going on out there on multiple different issues. Again, we have the assassination of JFK. We have the MLK files. We have the Epstein files. We have the UFO files. Now we have the election files. We have so much that we're getting out there. We just did an MK Ultra hearing in Congress, by the way. Did anybody see that one? Yeah. Again, Anna Paulina Luna was all over that one, but MK Ultra, the experiment from the CIA back in the 60s and 70s, and it's closed, allegedly. We'll see whether that's still the case or not, but we're getting information out that we've been wanting to know for a very long time, and I find that a big win for us. I want to tell you about my friends over at Americans for Prosperity. Outside of the document disclosures, we are working on Reconciliation Bill 3.0. We're working on appropriation bills. We're working on what needs to be done in this nation. And our friends over at Americans for Prosperity are the ones that are helping make that happen as well. As America's largest grassroots organization, Americans for Prosperity is working with you and I on that affordability agenda that includes permitting reform, tax cuts, deregulation, healthcare reform, and so much more. You can find the entire plan by going online to americansforprosperity.org/affordability. Get the affordability agenda plan, put it in front of your elected official, and let's make sure that we get it done before the end of this year. Again, americansforprosperity.org/affordability. And let's bring in that golden age of America with our friends over at AFP. All right, so last night, how many show of hands actually watched the Trump statement last night? The wild part was the fact that the mainstream media did not, at least most of them, did not broadcast that speech from the White House, and I find that very strange. Look, back in the day, whether you agreed or disagreed with a politician or the White House, when the president spoke and addressed the nation, you broadcast it. That's the whole point of the media, is getting information out there. Instead, many of the media outlets openly said, and we have some of the clips that we'll play right around the corner in just a minute, that they openly said they wanted to filter what the Trump had to say because they went as far as saying that the president of the United States could potentially give out dangerous information. That's what they said. That was word for word. What the media said was dangerous information. So what did he give out? Well, just like everything else, apparently we knew a lot more, and we now know a lot more about potential security breaches and concerns about our election integrity than what we did before. We all speculated for a long time, right? We kind of knew something weird was going on. The 2020 election could never put our finger on the pulse exactly what happened, but we know something weird was going on. In Los Angeles with the Spencer Pratt LA mayor's race, we knew something was going on, but it didn't make any sense. How could he go from second and Raman What's-Her-Face to being long distant third to all of a sudden all the mail-in ballots, everybody going for the third-party socialist candidate that rose up and beat Spencer Pratt to go into the general election runoff for that mayor's race? That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We know something's there, but what is it? Apparently, the government's known this information for a while. It was all classified, and guess what? The Trump administration now declassifying much of this information. So we'll break it down. I have had the chance to read some of it, not all of it, but we will break down what we can and get the response that we've seen throughout the day today with the Democrats and the media losing their minds on this issue. So That's how you kick off a Friday, man. That's how you start off a weekend with them going into panic mode as we go further into midterm season. I find that kind of entertaining. Lots more coming up. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Our votes are not enough. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but does something about it, as they're America's only Christian conservative wireless carrier, and they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes that we actually care about. And now, just for my listeners, get free activation with offer code REASON. Again, go to patriotmobile.com and use promo code REASON for free activation. That's patriotmobile.com, user code REASON. Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
It's America's political therapist. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Verifying you on a regular basis here on the program. Great to have you. If you want to find more information about the show, you can go to our website, HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com. As we move through the Friday, man, I'm sorry, I'm just reading that some of the headlines are just hilarious. It is one of the most entertaining times. We live in a very entertaining time indeed. And obviously Trump is the ultimate troll, and he likes to have fun. Democrats, with how ridiculous they become, it's been fun to watch there. If you don't pay attention, just kind of giggle at some of the politics that are going on, then you'd pull your hair out because of how crazy some of this is and how really dumb some of this is. So it's fun. You got to have a laugh once in a while, right? At least we tell ourselves that here on this program. By the way, I do want to tell you about my friends over at Red State Spirits. I have been enjoying these guys so much. They are amazing, great friends, veteran-owned and operated small business. These guys with their different true American spirits, embracing that true American spirit for sure, that small business rising up, offering, filling that void with a product that I know consumers absolutely love, and that's what these guys do with Red State Spirits. They have 4 different options for you. Their true American bourbon, their true American vodka, their true American gin, and their true American rum. All 4 of them are unbelievable. You're going to want them as a collector's item for one. And number 2, you're going to want to get them to actually taste it because it tastes absolutely amazing. I have mixed some of this with other things, although the quality is so good, you really don't want to mix a lot of it. Like their bourbon. On the rocks. Man, I absolutely love it. Go to redstatespirits.com. It is flat rate $20 shipping. It's difficult to find in stores because distributors don't want it, and because the liquor stores, apparently it's so divisive that Donald Trump is actually on a bottle of booze. So go and get it online, redstatespirits.com. It's flat rate shipping at $20. 1 bottle or 6, it does not matter. Stock up, give it to your friends and family, and enjoy the summertime season with a great drink, and do it with that flat rate shipping. Or if you buy the 4-pack. The bourbon, the vodka, the gin, the rum. If you get the 4-pack of one of each of those, use our promo code REASON, REASON, and you get free shipping that knocks that $20 off there, and you can get all 4 of those. Go to redstatespirits.com, redstatespirits.com. Stock up today. Enjoy your adult beverage during the summertime season. Must be 21 years or older. Please drink responsibly. All right, let's get into it here, shall we? Got a lot to talk about from last night.
What's trending today?
First and foremost, President Donald Trump making the announcement that now we have information regarding elections that we did not have before with declassified information, and it's easy to read. You can go to whitehouse.gov and you can find it. They literally has a pop-up. Do you want to download and see these files? Yeah, they're all on PDF. You can read them yourself. No gatekeeping, no censorship, no trying to control the narrative, just information for you to have it. I find that kind of cool.
America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness.
All right, before we go any further, he's right, and that's why I think there has been a lot of deteriorating of government agencies, deteriorating in society, because there is no trust. You and I don't trust any. I don't personally trust anything. I don't trust health departments. I don't trust a lot of quote unquote experts. I don't trust the government in general. I don't trust a lot of institutions. I don't trust a lot of big organizations that tell me stuff, because most of the time people are gatekeeping some type of information for their own gain. And if I don't have the proper information, then I don't trust you. And I think that's the way most people are feeling now as a general sentiment here in society.
For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure, one where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible.
All right, so we're going to break down. I have not had a chance to read all of the documents yet. We're going to break more of that down for this weekend on the big weekend program, the monster broadcast that we have for the show, where we have a lot of really great affiliates there. We're going to break down some of the content that's actually in those. What I want to focus on right now is the response to this, because the media has not wanted to cover it, which is kind of strange. And then we had as well the response directly out of the gate this morning with the Department of Homeland Security, Markwayne Mullin, where he talked about the importance of this information and went a bit deeper into it on why this is important, and for him as a national security threat on why they need to be focused on this.
President Trump is correct when he said that election security is national security. And one of the greatest privileges I have is being Secretary of the Department of Homeland, and part of that is that we secure our elections. It surprised me when we first started getting in and digging into the elections, and this isn't about rehashing the 2020 election. This is just exposing what took place and to make sure it never happens again. And there's some really easy steps that can be taken to secure our elections. And it shouldn't be a partisan issue. This should be something that every American, regardless if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're an independent, you're a libertarian, regardless if you live in a blue state or you live in a red state, everybody should know that their vote counts.
Well, and I think that we should, at least theoretically, want to know what kind of issues there are. The reason why the other side is so deaf to this issue, they put on the blinders, they just kind of go about in a delirious state and don't want to pay attention to the issues because they're probably tired of hearing about 2020. Donald Trump very consistently has talked about the rigging of the 2020 presidential election, and they don't want to hear it any longer. It's old news. And even here, we're like, all right, we have a midterm season coming up in 2026. We need to focus on that race. We can't keep focusing on the past. We have to look towards the future. That being said, you can't fix an issue unless you address the issue and understand what the problem is, right? You can't, as a fixer, as someone who builds things, as someone who's an automotive repair person or someone who's in IT, you can't stop the bad thing from happening until you understand what's actually causing the bad thing in the first place, right? That's how you diagnose a problem. We have to look at it in the past to figure out what happened to make sure it doesn't happen again. And that's what we're starting to do with this document dump and with what the Department of Homeland Security wants to focus on.
So first of all, Department of Homeland Security, we've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in just 4 states.
Hold on. Back that one up. Now, this is at a time when Democrats and progressives have said that we've had, especially with 2020, the most secure election in American history. There was no issue whatsoever. There's no problem whatsoever. There's no illegal voter fraud going on. There's no voter fraud at all going on whatsoever. This is the claim that they've made. Now, again, you can believe that and say that Donald Trump is just making things up out of the blue so that way he can rig the election moving forward. And I know they're upset about the redistricting that happened a few months ago, and that could potentially help Republicans save their majority in the midterm. However you feel about those issues, if you believe the election is completely fine, I got a bridge to sell you. Because we know, looking at the fraud in the Medicare and Medicaid services, we know that government is one of the most inefficient government entities out there in general. That's just the way government functions. That's why we always joke about how it's good enough for government work on the construction side and everywhere else. We know that government's not efficient. So if you think that your election's completely... Now, the degree of it is where I think people can kind of disagree on whether it's, imminent all over the place, whether it's just kind of minute and it doesn't really have an impact. That's where we can have the conversation, but I'm hoping that we can overall generally agree that there's a problem with our elections and that it's not going to be 110% completely secure in some fashion. But when you hear that out of 4 states, 250,000 non-citizens on the voter rolls, that should raise the flag for everybody, Republican, Democrat, Independent alike.
So first of all, Department of Homeland Security, we've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in just 4 states. Mind you, we have 46 other states, and just 4 states we've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in California and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada.
Now, hold on. Okay, we'll get to the rest of that in just a minute. What do you think, just spitballing ideas out here, what would solve that issue with non-citizens registered to vote? Now, whether they're voting or not is another question. It did not say they were voting. It said they were registered to vote, 250,000 of them in 4 states. We can only imagine what the rest of the states could look like. Some could have more, some could have less. They're not necessarily voting, but they're registered. What would solve an issue like that? I'm thinking, I mean, it could be maybe something where you verify some people's information, that you actually just double check that you are who you are and that you are a U.S. citizen by providing a birth certificate or a passport or a state issued ID or some type of name change that you could potentially have. Oh, that's right. That would be the Save America Act. Wow. What a concept. And that would solve that issue. So one of the three, there's like 3 or 4 different topics on the website at whitehouse.gov. They broke it up into different categories between the digital concern with China actually getting into our systems, with a fraud that we've seen in particular states like Michigan, which was one of the topics, and then, of course, the non-citizens that are registered to vote. The Save America Act would essentially erase that entire problem. Then we could address on the IT problems with China and people trying to hack into systems and trying to manipulate numbers, whatever else. That's a whole nother topic. That's a very complicated one. That's part for IT that I don't understand, and way smarter people that understand computers than I do. But the registration on whether who's registered or not registered to vote, the Save America Act would essentially wipe that issue completely off, right? Or you would think.
We also worked with proactive states to identify 28,000 non-citizens on their voter rolls, plus 400,000 individuals that are still registered to vote that are deceased.
That's crazy. Almost 500,000 in just a few states that we've actually been able to look at. Now, this was all classified. This is now declassified. And the media and the Democrats that are trying to put the blinders on, these aren't the droids you're looking for. All of them, they're going to look really, really silly, just like the immigration issue and every other issue they've tried to make as a platform by dismissing the Trump administration. This is now for you to see, and it's a problem we need to address.
Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
It's time you diversify your retirement savings with gold, silver, and precious metal IRAs. Andy Hooser here for Revelation Gold Group. They're based on Christian values of integrity, stewardship, and trust as they help personalize guidance to help you explore alternatives to the traditional stock market investment. Discover how precious metals can help strengthen your retirement strategy with Revelation Gold Group. Go check out their website today that's just for my listeners only at HooserMetals.com. That's HOOSER metals.com. Go check them out today.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason. Hey, it's Andy Hooser, and as you know on this show, it's all about the American spirit. Bold, proud, and unapologetic. And Red State Spirits does the same from grain to glass. Try their true American bourbon, their smooth American vodka, classic gin, or rich rum. It's all crafted by veterans for those who stand tall and sip strong. And right now for my listeners, when you order that patriotic bundle of all 4 blends, you get free shipping. Order today at redstatespirits.com and use my promo code REASON. That's redstatespirits.com. Must be 21 years or older. Please drink responsibly.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it.
Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hoosier Reason on all of our social media sites. For all these social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HoosierReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HoosierReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hoosier Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hoosier Media Network. Find out more information online at HoosierReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
This segment of the Voice of Reason brought to you by Hoosier Health. For your holistic health remedies, find more online at HoosierHealth.com.
Yeah, welcome back into the program. Great to have you here for your Friday. Setting that tone for the weekend. Going to carpe diem all over this place, baby. That's just what we do. Each and every day, trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag. Trying to rebrand the millennial generation, one radio listener at a time. I got to thank you as the listener for hanging out with us every day. Also, our great partners, man. They are rock stars, and it would not be possible to do this show on so many great stations across the country without our partners. You can find all of them on our website at HoosierReason.com under the Partners tab. You get some really awesome perks, even from ones that we don't even talk about on the radio all the time, just because we don't have the time. But you can see all the information, different things that you do: Patriot Mobile, Revelation Gold Group, our friends at Hoosier Health, our friends with Red State Spirits, Americans for Prosperity, and so much more, even other ones on there that you can get. So different perks, different great discounts. Go check it out, HoosierReason.com/partners, and you can see all that great information. All right. As we wrap this conversation up real quickly, again, we'll break more of the details down on the weekend show about what the documents actually look like. But the response to it has been quite intriguing because the media has openly acknowledged now that they're not, whether it's just this issue or whether it's Donald Trump in general, that the mainstream media is not going to broadcast an address from the President of the United States to the general populace live, because they don't know what he's going to say, and it could be a danger to society.
He did the same thing as this network, CNN, last night. The newsrooms monitored the speech, evaluated what was actually newsworthy, looked at the documents Trump was declassifying, and then reported on what happened. NBC and ABC both went on the air with special reports to explain that the speech had happened and to summarize what Trump had said, but most importantly, to contextualize it and fact check it.
To contextualize and fact check it, to see what he's going to say, to filter it, and then to give you the information. In other words, you're either too stupid or you're either too stupid to understand it, or you're too stupid to actually want to believe it with what Donald Trump has to say. So we're going to filter it, we're going to screen it, and then we'll tell you the pertinent information to tell you whether it's actually accurate or not. Is that the goal of the media? Is that the role of media? I thought the role of media was to be journalists and actually report information. And, oh, the president of the United States is speaking to you. Here's what he had to say. Then afterwards have all your experts and, belittle it and dismiss it and say it's a bunch of bogus hooey or whatever else you want to do. But the president of the United States is speaking. We need to give you that information. Here is Donald Trump live, not to say, well, I'm just going to monitor it in the background and tell you what you need to know. That's kind of weird to me.
Now, Trump was ominously claiming that the networks were part of a plot, but the only real plot here, the only intention is to remain reality-based and truth-based. Trump's election lies led to violence after the 2020 election. So this is a subject that really does warrant extra care and attention by journalists. And frankly, some network executives felt that it would be dangerous to just air Trump's speech live, in full, unedited, without knowing what he was going to say ahead of time.
Yeah, it's going to be dangerous for the president of the United States to actually give, to address the American public directly. This is a crazy world we're living in, man. I've never seen anything like it, and the fact that they're open about it. They don't care anymore. They're just very openly, blatantly saying Donald Trump is a threat, and therefore you're not allowed to listen to him live with us. We're going to tell you exactly what you need to hear after we do our spin room to it. But that's the state of the Democrats right now. Did you see, and this is...
What's trending today?
Perfect way to wrap things up for the show with the last minute that we have. The new convention that's going on in the state of Maine for the Democrats trying to find their new nominee for the U.S. Senate to run against Susan Collins up there. Did you see the new candidate? How are things going up there? First you had an actual Nazi socialist that was the candidate, and now you have, well, you just got to hear it yourself.
The biggest thing I'd like to get across is that we need unity. Whoever wins this nomination, we need to show up at the polls, we need to vote for them, and we need to make sure they win no matter what, because what's going on in this country is not right. With the immigration and immigrants being targeted, they're being rounded up like animals. It's not acceptable to allow this to go on in our streets.
Yeah.
And then with the trans community, like, we're being dehumanized. They say that we want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to use the bathroom.
That would be Ashley Webb, a male who was in a dress on the TV last night. Further conversation of different candidates who's concerned about using the bathroom in Maine. Look, if that's the quality of candidates you have as Democrats, and you have to censor the other side to get your information out, but you allow that to be on TV, which in my opinion would be a really strange danger to culture, I think, then hey, all the power to you. See how well that works out for you in November if that's the quality of candidate that you have running for Senate in Maine and across the nation. With your radicalism that's taking hold, you are going to lose miserably, and it is going to be very fun to watch. Until then, back at it again before you know it. It is The Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. We'll see you back on the radio soon. Bye.
For too long, Washington has said no to builders, workers, and American families, and yes to bureaucracy, delay, and special interests. Let's flip that. Say yes to building more housing, and no to government mandates that block it. Yes to permitting American energy, and no to endless red tape. Yes to putting patients in charge of healthcare, and no to letting insurance companies call the shots. Higher costs? No. An affordable America? Yes.